Hello and welcome back to the UKLC as we're kicking it off with our second game here of the summer split where we have Phelan versus Diabolus. And game one, absolute explosive. It was so good to watch. I am so excited for this game because I think there's a lot on the line here. When previously in the last split, if we said Phelan versus Diabolus, but Diabolus are going to stomp and we're going to move on. But with this new roster for Diabolus, I feel that this is the best time for teams like Phelan, these kind of middle-of-the-pack teams, to try and put themselves in that top 4 position. As, you know, there's always going to be teething issues of a new roster. So Diabolus, they need to make sure that they can kind of keep that consistency we know from the team, because the last 2 splits, Diabolus have been looking very, very good as a team. They've been consistent across all of their games. They finally made it to the European Masters in the spring split. And now they've got a new roster. They need to search for that consistency once again. But Phelan, they've had a few changes here and there, but they still kept some players. So this might be a good chance for some of these middle-of-the-pack teams to start clawing their way up.
Yeah, and it ties into what Viggo said, is that, you know, the top 3, are, in a lot of people's opinions, have established themselves, being XL, Fnatic, and M&M, not in that order. But those are seen as the big 3 right now. And I think that teams like Phelan and Diabolus want to prove that they can get up to that level, because yes, Diabolus were a top team, and the org has definitely had such a storied performance in the last couple of splits, but people are unsure of this new roster, and this would definitely be an opportunity for them to prove themselves and say, hey, we're not a downgrade, we're at the same level, or maybe even better.
I mean, there are still lanes to watch in this game, and we are watching one lane in particular. I believe it's the jungle, if I remember right.
Yeah, it is.
I put it down on the floor. Yeah, we do. So we're looking towards our junglers here. A Soft and having a massive brain fart. Remind me?
PFI.
PFI, thank you. I can see him there.
Or my nickname for him, Piff.
Piff. Piff and Soft. SOF and Poff.
No, he hates that. PFI, you know what PFI stands for?
You said pray, focus, and improve.
Play, focus, improve, which, you know, he's hoped to do on his last split with Darkspawn. Did get relegated, but was really a standout member of the team. And actually, we just saw Viggo, one of his old teammates, have a lot of success in that last game. So I'm optimistic, but both these junglers, a lot of people have rated them similarly, and I think it's going to come down to them impacting the map to decide this game.
Well, it's not just the junglers on the team. They do have 4 other members with them. So let's have a little look at our rosters for our second game of the day, as we're starting off with Phelan. In the top lane is Zizzle. Is it Zizzle?
Zizzle.
Zizzle, thank you, I'm right. Soft, Chimera mid, a Chew and Wisdom as their support.
Yeah, pretty stacked roster, and Achu and Wisdom, a lot of experience playing together. Did actually play together in a range of teams passing over time, so they are very happy to be playing together as a duo.
Well, on the red side of the rift, it's the Devils themselves. It's Diabolus, Kakan in the top lane, PFI is their jungle, Fury in the mid, Dragdar ADC, and the Heathen as their support.
Yeah, are missing the graphics for Dragdar because their normal AD carry Koki is unavailable for today, so they brought in their sub. But still, very confident Diabolus are in him bringing out the best performance for their team.
I mean, Dragdar's been around for a little while. He's playing a few different tournaments around, so it's not like he's not an inexperienced player. A lot of the Diabolus players, to a degree, have a little bit of competitive experience, if I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
The big ones, Kakan and Fury.
Yes.
Fury has played in a range of teams. And actually, I've heard, talk that for a pretty big team in the ERLs, he was actually playing as sub when their mid lane was unavailable. So a lot of experience and expectations on this player. And then Kakan did actually play in the UK as a mid laner back on Nerd Rage, where he was on a team with Crossfair. Unfortunately, didn't manage to go further in the semi-finals. But that's still a pretty solid finish, and it's now playing top. And a lot of people have said he is pretty solid as a top laner. It's not just, oh, I've switched to top lane, this is my first out as a top laner. He has experience in this role now and seems pretty comfortable in his new role.
I'm really excited to see how this game's going to start to pan out. As we head towards picks and bans, what are we expecting to be kind of picked up here? Because it's an entirely new roster for Diabolus. You know, we don't know what the team synergy's like. Previously, you'd say maybe there'd be some focus on just banning out Curb or banning out Yusa. Now it's like, who are we banning out here? Who's our attention going to? Obviously, we talked about the jungle matchup, but is that what we're looking at?
No, because I think jungle is pretty evenly matched. I think that maybe there's a situation where you can get a better pick for your jungler, give an advantage. But I think both sides, the areas I look to for their strength is for Diabolus, it's their solo lanes. I think Kakan and Fury are really strong, and I think they'll look to get strong picks for them or good matchups. And on the other side, it's Chew and Wisdom are such a strong duo. I think they are really, arguably, they could go toe-to-toe with any bot lane in the league. They have a lot of experience together, and I expect them to come out with something strong, potentially like the Zyricon. But also, I want to see them ban away things that are pretty non-interactive. If they go up against a Sivir Yumi, that is not going to be an easy bot lane to pressure, and I expect to see them to get rid of that.
Now, what we didn't mention in the last game is we're actually on 9-13 currently, and Mordekaiser is disabled. We're not playing Mord at the moment.
Yeah, and Kiana is not yet available. Despite being on this patch, she's not enabled in competitive. Very quickly, the Akali ban comes out, and it shows a lot of respect towards those solo lanes coming out from Diabolus.
All right, let's see what the rest of these bans are going to be. Gonna take away that Karma. It's very strong at the moment, like you're talking about the top lane full tank and potentially all full AP into range. Don't want to be dealing with that. Just take it away. Follow that with a Sejuani by Phelan.
Yeah, pretty solid pick when you have two strong solo laners. The Sejuani can facilitate them pretty effectively, as we saw Batu do in the game before. Diabolus actually hammering away that Sona, so not wanting a True Wisdom to play something that scales incredibly well. And I understand that when they have the wealth of competitive experience, it can be devastating.
And when I look towards the two, things like the Tristana are still open.
Yep.
I remember he had some incredible games in the last split on that, so it has been left open. The Yuumi gets taken away. What do Phelan want to put their first priority on here in this pick?
Hey, it's pretty interesting that all these picks I expect to be banned away by Phelan are getting taken off. The Lux, when you take away the Yuumi, Lux is one of the strongest supports in the game. The shields from a W, and actually, it's not just about the damage. You can honestly max your W, and with Aftershock, you can just trade with almost any lane, and you just win because of the sheer amount of shielding. So already, Phelan securing a really strong bot lane. In return, though, Diabolus potentially looking towards this jungle matchup with this Gragas, wanting to give PFI some tools to make early pressure, and then very quickly Dragor takes the Sivir. This is something I talked about. I wanted them to deny the uninteractive lanes, but Phelan instead targeted the solo laners of Diabolus. It does mean, however, they're dealing with a Sivir. It'll be interesting to see what Achu picks up to punish, because remember, Sivir very short range. There are picks you can take into it to abuse that.
And you don't really want the Sivir Lux as well, because there's a hell of a lot of push and poke. So they deny that as well from the side of Phelan. Like I said, the question is what are they going to be picking that up? Soft goes for the Xin Zhao, so early game focus for the junglers here. I'm glad this is our lane to watch because
that's a hype matchup, and it makes sense. Soft played a lot of Xin Zhao last split when he had the opportunity to, wanting to bring things in the early levels. It's not on Phelan. I wouldn't be surprised to see an AD carry picked up here, because if you pick a solo lane, you are going to allow Diabolus the chance to counter. I feel like you might just want to go for something for a Chu that's going to be strong in the 2v2. With already having that Lux, you're in a comfortable position. And actually, they end up taking that Xayah. So something that does well into the Sivir, because a big thing is you can't spell shield all of the Blade Callers. You will still get rooted if there are enough feathers.
Another key one, actually, is the fact that it's another champion, but Achu looked very good on the previous split. But you might have to hold the phone, because Fury just picked Yasuo. Maybe for Kakan, we did see it top last game. But I mean, I'm sad we were starting the UKLC out with a Yasuo.
Back-to-back Yasuo picks, so a lot of pressure being put on this champion to carry. And it will be interesting. Could go mid lane, could go top lane, but it shows Diabolus confident in their solo lanes. And the big thing is, if it goes mid, Yasuo Gragas is one of the strongest mid-jungle 2v2s, because it's so easy once you hit 6 to simply ult with the Gragas, follow up with the ult from the Yasuo. Very, very competent.
All right, well, they take away the Syndra, denying that. Don't want to be dealing for that. Nico also going to be banned away here. What is the next plan of action here for Diabolus? They got one more ban. Who do they want to be denying? Where do they want to be targeting? I reckon mid is probably going to still be a fairly comfortable place.
You still can get the counter pick top lane. So I feel like unless there's something blind that you're concerned about, you can just sort of leave that at the wayside. I actually seen a Rengar ban coming out. This is something Zizzle in particular plays. He likes to play the Rengar top lane. And actually, on the current patch, I've seen more than just one Trix playing that champion top lane. It's not actually awful. It has some strength. And when someone is competent on it, as Zizzle is possibly going to pick it, understandably, they ban it away. But very quickly, Diabolus take the Nautilus. Could be a flex, but I likely expect it support. Allows more setup for the Yasuo. Does mean they have a pretty strong all-in with that 2v2, but still, gotta favor Chu and Wisdom in this matchup. And now looking at what they want to secure, a decent blind would be that Shen pick, but it does free up Kakan to take whatever he wants in that 1v1 matchup top.
All right, well, they are going to lock that Shen in, so sending that into the top lane most likely, unless it's like Shen support and Lux mid. But as a Lux player, I can tell you, Lux mid into Yasuo is actually fairly rough.
Yeah,
it's pretty rough. Like, your ult doesn't get blocked, but outside of that, it's rough.
I actually really like that pick if they take it. It's still a hover right now, but the thing with the Aurelion Sol, it has a lot of opportunity to create space and disengage from something like Yasuo. The ult works really well. Plus, if you give it 2 Spears or Sojin, and you give it the Phantom Dance and the Dragon... No, sorry, that's Teamfight Tactics, but they are actually in the end going to go for that Anivia.
Oh, okay.
It makes it trickier to find the all-in because of that egg. It does have good wave clear, but in those early levels, I'm going to be concerned for Chimera, because you can block the stun with a wind wall, and then you're really the bane of Fury. And we see the cannon come in.
Diabolus have put together a really filthy team fight comp here.
Yeah,
if that's like
absolutely.
full AP Kennen as well, which I expect it to maybe be. I mean, he is into the Shen, so he could go for on hit and just build full split push, but I want full AP.
I think you
I
go
want the
AP.
big flashy engage here for Diabolus, and
I think you're in a free lane against Shen. I think you go AP, especially a big thing is you're lacking AP because of the Yasuo mid. I want to see that damage coming out from Kakan, but overall Diabolus, they've given strength and favorable matchups to their solo lanes. I've got a feel they have a pretty strong all-in and facilitation coming out from their jungle and bot lane. It does look good for them in that regard, but my concern is a Chew and Wisdom on Xayah and Lux. Once you land one route, the other's going to connect, and they are so strong in that 2v2. I want to see Soft and Zizzle put so much pressure down on that bot lane and just make their Xayah the strongest champion in the game.
I do like how Diabolus have basically drafted a big team fight wombo combo team, especially when you're a new team. There might be some nerves. This is the first day of the split. You know, you want to get this win under your belt. You draft yourself a wombo combo. There's always the ability to pull a game back, no matter how far you fall back. So I actually really like this from Diabolus. You know, this team hasn't had a lot of time to prep and get ready for
Especially
the
as
split.
had a late substitution.
Yeah, they had with a late sub. So put themselves in something a little bit more kind of like easy to pull off. It makes for a pretty comfortable condition to put yourself in. You have a very clear win condition. You get that big engage, you follow up with the damage, and you win the fight.
And I think the thing that I like is we talked about the solo lanes for Diabolus are so strong. The bot lane for Phelan are so strong. Both teams are very much drafted to their win conditions. They've got two strong solo laners, and the team facilitates. They have CC from the Gragas and the Nautilus. They have the Sivir to give movement speed. And on the other side, you pick Shen when you want to make your bot lane a fiesta and you want to bring more numbers than the other team.
If light travels so fast, how come it's never caught a ninja?
God, that's edgy.
Big questions coming out from Shen.
So fast.
Oh, Lord. All right, well, we are through to our second game of the day. Diabolus versus Phelan. Diabolus want to prove that they are still one of the top teams here in the UK. And this would be a great way to start it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Might see a late invade come out here from Heathen. An opportunity to get a ward near those Raptors. We saw it happen in game one. This is a very common one. Remember, the priority is on that red side for the amount of XP and early pressure you can get from getting level 3 off 3 camps and that red buff. Intranet, this shows how much Phelan are playing to their bot side. Because Soft on Jin Zhao absolutely wants to gank early and absolutely wants a red buff. He's starting on blue side because he doesn't want to use his bot lane to leash. He wants them to be in lane as soon as possible to get the biggest advantage they can. That is dedication. Soft knowing exactly what their win condition is and facilitating his bot lane.
I expect to see Soft go bot lane a lot this lane. I think he's probably going to get that blue buff, go for his bot side clear, and then if they're not pushing too hard, try and find himself some kind of opening. And maybe this is a Sivir, so she does push back fairly even once she kind of hits that level 2 mark.
And that's the big thing, is the lane control goes over to Phelan right now. They'll shove in and get level 2, and then they can bounce the wave on the tower, so it pushes into them, and that's when Dragged On Heathen will be so vulnerable to a gank.
That's that level 2 mark hit there.
Gotta respect it, gotta back off.
Wisdom can now walk up, look for a little bit of poke if he wants, but it does respect that dredge line, does respect that kind of potential damage, as they are looking for that reset. And Chimera just goes versus Fury, gets himself a really good trade out.
And that's the thing, no wind wall yet at level 2, so Fury has to respect the stun and follow-up damage coming out from Chimera.
Now, I do believe Soft was actually popped out on that ward.
I think he did get spotted just walking through.
So this does mean that the bot lane will know that he's there. And I expect them to know that they're going to be getting ganks as well.
Yeah, it does hit level 3. He clears full blue side. And now actually might potentially look mid, but Fury backed off, played it safe. Looking to go for an early back and might just pick up a dagger and a pink ward. So wanting to play for every little advantage you can get in the lane. Soft, going to go for a full clear. And then, as we said, I expect to see him head bot lane. Might well go for the scuttle right now. Spawning in 5 seconds. Going to make bit of a detour. No, changes his mind, sees how shoved his bot lane is. Just going to head for that scuttle crab.
You know he's itching to go down there, though. Yeah, he's so desperate to make it into our bot lane. Is the Halo Blade Zins out as well, so he gets that knock up nice and quick.
Yeah, very effective. If one route connects coming out from Phelan's bot lane, it's just a death sentence. There is very little you can do. And it's really difficult for the Nautilus in particular to play this matchup, because once you've been engaged on his Nautilus, there isn't very many outs. Your hitbox is so large, it's easy to follow up on you. Soft actually looking mid in this situation.
The windwall's already been used, Fury.
Fury goes in. Remember, PFI is here, just to level 4.
And There's a wave hanging about as well. Fury's holding the wave here.
The mana is too much. They know Chimera will not fight on such low mana, so Fury going to play it smart and freeze right now, and it forces Chimera to recall and potentially use his TP to get back into lane.
It looks like Jungle is basing up as well here. As you can see, Soft actually is just taking away his Krugs. Teleport's coming out. That's the tier now finished off for Chimera. Does want to start stacking that ASAP. Because Anivia, she drinks a lot of mana. She needs that.
Yeah, so right now it does look like Soft is slightly ahead in terms of camps because he has one more, but he cleared his Krugs so late. That camp actually is the most beneficial, and you want to clear it as soon as possible to get the most XP. So it does mean PFI will get a bit further ahead in terms of XP going forward. But right now, Soft is looking for a gank.
He's looking
Either
for
walks
it.
up or good ward. They respected the possibility of a gank, and now PFI knows exactly where this Gonzalo is. And Chimera has to be careful. He's stepping up really far.
Chimera's in for a wall to hurt. The Windwall blocks out the stun. He does still have Egg. He does still have Flash. The Ignite pulls him down. He's underneath his turret, but he's not going to stay alive for long as Fury and PFI combine for first blood.
And PFI there, he is confident. It was a great gank, but honestly, Chimera just disrespected the side of Phelan, overstepped when you know Diabolus are confident. They've just seen your jungle on the bot side. They know there is zero risk of a counter gank, especially with Shen pre-6. Not the time you want to step up.
I mean, they're desperate to make this play happen here on this side of the map for Phelan, but they're unable to. There's just lots of respect being played by Diabolus. They don't want to give over that opening, and like you said, just playing towards their stronger side of the map.
Absolutely. And it does feel like Diabolus haven't given the opportunities on the bot side. I mean, 8 CS difference isn't a massive thing. It is not a real complaint. And right now, Dizzle is not having fun in this top lane matchup. Down almost 20 CS. You are just playing for your level 6
as well.
Yeah, it's what you go when you have a free matchup like this. You can just easily trade on to him, get as much gold as possible. And the thing is, so useful in AP Cannon when you get into team fights. Now he feels like he has to TP back to lane to come back with items. Doesn't mean he should be able to ward off Kakan, who hasn't bought yet. But when that cannon spends, he's going to be so strong.
It's going to be the Spectre's Cowl picked up by Zizzle for the moment. But this does mean now if he goes for that big kind of Stand United play, he can't return to lane.
Yeah, and I feel like Kakan, he has the opportunity to walk back to lane if he wants to. He can TP to keep applying pressure, but he's in a position where he can just walk up, and then he has his TP to counter that Channel. I have to wait and see what the decision he goes for is. It'd be very useful having that cannon come in, and he does opt to just walk back to lane. So it means the advantage from having that Channel on the map of that ult coming in has been negated somewhat by having the TP advantage.
Oh, Fury might be in for a bit of hurt here. Ward does spot them out, and it's just Diabolus playing respect. They seem to know exactly where Soft is at all times in this game.
They're completely prepared for it, and they don't want to go for risk, especially on the bot side where they know Phelan is putting so much attention.
I do feel like they have the wards to go for maybe a Drake if they want to try it, but again, it's just this respect piece. They don't want to kind of throw out this game. They know that this is a very crucial game for kind of team mentalities coming in. You know, you don't want to start the split out with a loss. You want to make it to play both days of the first week.
Yeah, and it's about establishing the pecking order as well, as a lot of people rank Phelan and Diabolus pretty closely in terms of standings, and I think there are arguments for both of them to win this game, but right now Diabolus have come out ahead, just over a 1k gold lead, but Phelan definitely not out of it yet. Xayah and Anivia, massive scaling champions.
Well, they're able to hold up for the moment. I have to see, they've not really been too many kind of plates taken. There's not been too many kind of explosive kills like we saw in the previous game. So the gold lead is in Diabolus' favor, but it's nothing too big at the moment as Fury picks up the attack speed boots to start the game off.
500 mid,
to get that cooldown reduction.
500 top. Those are the goal differences, mostly fueling the overall team difference. There's a slight one in the jungle towards PFI from that kill, and also a few hundred coming out from a Chew, but it is not as significant. Both solo lanes from Diabolus pulling out ahead, and that is my concern right now, is that a Chew and Wisdom, they haven't found enough ground in this bot lane to really say we're going to equalize these solo lanes from Diabolus. But right now, they're just freezing the lane here, which is going to make it very tricky for Diabolus' bot lane to walk up.
Remember, Diabolus are running a sub right now. This isn't even the full, like, starting roster. They're looking very, very solid so far to start this game out, but I feel like there's going to be a moment in this game where either Phelan or Diabolus just completely take over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a point, a team fight, maybe around a dragon, 13, 14, 50-minute points, or the Rift Herald. But one of these teams is going to pull ahead and find the momentum. Looks like Soft is potentially looking bot here right now. There is a ward that will spot him when he walks out.
No matter where he goes.
Yeah, and there is a TP available for Kakan. If he goes for this play, counteraction could come in. Absolutely.
Diabolus, you kind of let him know that
they're
they're aware this is
collapsing on him.
happening, but they are looking for the collapse. Multiple people looking for the engage. That's going to be the on the hunt use. They find themselves a root. Wisdom throws out the final spark, chunks out Heaven. Heaven is low, and now actually Phelan, maybe they've caught out Diabolus. The slow from the barrel will buy time as Zazzle joins in with the stand united to save the day.
Yeah, and Phelan do manage to ward them up, but they don't get a single kill. And the big thing for Diabolus there was they burned the stand united. They didn't need the TP from Kakan. They got everything they wanted with that play. And honestly, it has to favor them. They no longer have the threat. Shannon, actually, they're looking for a play here. Great knockup.
Last breath comes down. Chimera has the egg for the moment. He's trying to stay alive. He
The
places the
sidestep.
wall. Fury sidesteps everything. But now Zizzle is on top of him, forcing to run away. The slows are coming down. Chimera holds fast.
the knockup
They've
on
still
the
got
taunt.
damage coming down. Zizzle is alive. PFI is low.
Oh, the
and that's
flash.
going to be the flash force to secure the kill. Fury's running away. The wall pins him in place. And Chimera has a shield from Wisdom as Chimera finds the kill. Phelan finds their moment.
So many little interactions, so many key mechanics coming out in that 1v1. It looked Diabolus favored, then it looked Phelan favored. Little sidesteps here and there just made that fight go in favor of Phelan. A great performance from their top and mid. And when we praise Diabolus' solo lanes so much, it's Phelan's solo lanes who step up here and now.
We need to see that play again. That was absolutely nutty. As we actually did also see the Mountain Drake go down for Soft while that action was breaking out. So just a win-win across the board there for Phelan.
Yeah, Phelan definitely starting to put the work in, equalize that goal difference, and now you look at the difference in the bot lane. Achu picked up that full Essence Reaver.
Look
on
at the
Xayah.
CS, 111 to 67.
We said bot lane was the place to watch for Phelan, but their solo laners are definitely putting the work in to equalize things. And Fury falling there. Definitely struggle. We'll see that start off. So PFI invests everything. He has no ult here, but he managed to get it down. And then watch Chimera. Chimera with his sidestep on the Q from Yasuo. Now Zizzle does his best, but he is quite squishy compared to Yasuo because of that Spectre's Cowl. Takes a lot of damage. PFI interrupts a taunt with his belly bop, but takes so much damage in the back end. And the flash over from Zizzle to secure it means that Fury can't do anything. That wall as well was perfectly placed.
Also, Chimera's kind of positioning in that fight was incredible because he didn't let the ulti break. Yeah. So they were fighting on a slow burn kind of ground. It was so well played
from
by
Chimera on the Yasuo Q. Because if he died to that, he would have gone into his egg form. And yes, he wouldn't have died because he was in a tower, but it would have left Zizzle alone and exposed. And he probably would have gone down and Diabolus could have walked away. So great mechanics coming at him to save the day. But right now, PFI is heading towards that top side. No flash available, but now has the ult. Both teams looking to play around the bot lane.
Key thing is both Fury and PFI burnt their flash in that last fight. Chimera did as well. But with the Unsealed Spellbook, now just has a ghost.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to rotate as quick as he wants. Uses teleport to get into lane. And here is where things become difficult. He has Rod of Ages, he has Tear. Not a ton of AP behind him right now, but he has so much mana, he can just wave clear for days, especially as that blue buff is coming up pretty soon. If he gets handed that, I feel like mid lane is just going to be an unbreakable wall where you can't apply the pressure despite having the Yasuo Gragas combo. Especially, I think the biggest talking point is the fact they didn't burn that egg in the last exchange.
Yeah.
And that means if you go for that same play, you're just as liable for it to fail, especially since Zizzle still has his ultimate.
No, it looks to me like Phelan are going to be trying to starting up this crab. Riftel's going to get picked up by them. They've had a few wards placed down, but they are playing in the dark. Diabolus unaware and are fully aware, but they just don't want to commit. They're too worried about the power of Achu versus Dragdar at this point. With that massive CS with that entire item finished on Achu, it's too risky. That's going to be the Rifteld picked up, and now where are Phelan going to look to use that? Are they going to go for plates or are they going to go for first turret?
Yeah, off potential to go either area. You could put it down bot lane and get a tower. The problem is, Zizzle is constantly getting shoved in, and you really do not want to donate attention to the opposite side from your bot lane. So I was going to recall. Right now, Zizzle is just playing the survival game in this 1v1, waiting for the opportunity to ult in and help his team.
Yeah, you can see he's playing towards the team.
And Kakan is playing towards himself. He's gone for that Gunblade, the better item in the 1v1 of the Proto build. than the Proto Belt, but less effective in team fights. So looking to punish Zizzle as much as possible. And the big thing is, because you have that Doran's Blade and the AD from the Gunblade, you're going to do a bit of damage that Zizzle hasn't massively itemized against yet, other than that Ninja Tabby.
He's also able to do a lot of damage to this tower as well.
Yeah.
Because he, honestly, is just chunking through it.
And the CS lead is absolutely there. So, yes, there is definitely a lot of strength on Phelan right now. They have a very slight gold lead, though, and so much gold in this cannon is my big concern.
All right, well, this turret is getting pushed in, and that's going to be the
great
taunt by
taunt.
Zizzle underneath the tower. Kakan takes a tower shot to the back of the head, and now Wisdom and Soft closing in on that gap. Kakan rubs his feet along the carpet to get the shock. The final spot goes very, very wide, but he does force the flash out as they try to get that slowed down. Soft, hungry to chase. That's going to be the ulti, the slicing maelstrom, but they lock him down in place, and Soft secures the kill. It's going to be the end of days for Kakan.
Yeah, bit of an oopsie daisy coming out from Wisdom with that ult, but does manage to find the opportunity for his team to catch up. Zizzle lands a taunt, and then Soft has the easy follow-up, and now they will be able to take down this tower, but on the other side of the map,
Yeah, we got a
Diabolus
race.
are punishing
They should be able to get this first
bot
though.
lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, do get it first thanks to the Rift
Oh,
Herald.
it's close.
Very close.
That was very, very close there, but they were just ahead for the side of Phelan as they pick that up. And now they're just looking to clear out some of these wards around this barren pit area. Not spawning up for a while, but they do want to just make sure they have nice and solid control around this part. As actually a two-man route coming out into the Slur.
Yeah, no
Do
ult
too much
available
damage.
right now for Wisdom. Ooh, good job there from
That-
Chimera.
That could
was
have been
close.
dangerous. He had flash. Or almost has flash.
Oh,
he has
stop.
it.
You might just have to flash out here.
He's feeling comfortable. Cloud's going to do a lot of damage. Oh! Flashes over the wall just as the cask gets used to send him packing. But look at Phelan. They're starting to collapse here. They don't
You give this.
have their AD carry. That's going to be the final spark. They're not going to go for the full commit on the kill.
Yeah.
Stan United was available, but
You
said
lost the
it was-
flash on Soft. Your AD carry, who is the most fed on your team, wasn't there. You give it. It's just a Cloud Dragon. It's not a big deal. And now, Phelan used the advantage because Diabolus devoted so much attention to the river to get that dragon. He'll have the opportunity to put some damage on this tower. It's not going to be much, though. Civil Wave Clear coming in clutch. But right now, Phelan's still confident in where they are. They have managed to sort of catch up a lot in that mid lane. Because we saw CS leads coming out from Fury, and Chimera is actually ahead now. And he is scaling so well. He has that Rod of Ages which is stacking up. He's stacking up that tier as well. He's going to be in a great position once he gets to, the 23, 24 minute point, and those are both fully stacked, and he has that Serum.
It's still a massive CS lead as far as AD carries to go. I mean, it's 172 CS to 127.
And here's the thing, is that once the Titanic Hydra comes out from Zizzle, he can wave clear pretty effectively. I don't really feel like Kakan is going to do a ton in terms of split push. And yes, Cannon's a great team fighter, but my concern is you have to be able to kill so many big backline carries. I mean, it may seem like only the Anivia and the Xayah, but it's the fact that they have so much protection from this Lux. They have so many mechanics behind them to keep them alive, like the egg from the Anivia, like the ult from the Xayah to make it untargetable.
And the Shen ult.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
Ooh. Does block out with the spell shield on the root there.
Yeah, it does get chunked a bit, and that's the thing with the Lux, is your ult is such a short cooldown, even at this stage. You can't afford to just throw it out pretty freely. Phelan now going to push up, not going to pressure this mid tower, but it's very difficult to get to a Civil Wave Clear, even though she's behind on gold. She still has that first item, still has that CDR, and a bit of AD behind her.
Alrighty, well, 17 minutes on the clock here. The gold is dead even between Phelan and Diabolus, but Phelan do have themselves 2 extra kills. They also have that Drake
This is the issue.
mountain, but Diabolus have a Cloud.
Is that across the board, the gold lead is pretty solid for Phelan, apart from in the top lane. That's the big disparity. And we haven't seen Kakan use his TP. We haven't seen him join in these team fights. So yes, the gold is even when you look at the top of the screen. But in these
PFI?
team fights, Phelan have the advantage. And PFI's going in.
He is going in. He might just get followed up. Gets
root
rooted
connects.
up. They get slowed down. That's going to be the ulti to try and disengage for the moment. But the Chew coming in, a great wall into
That's the
another
flash.
slow. They force the flash out of PFI. And that's one of their major engages down.
Yeah, you have to take it. I feel like PFI was going way too aggressive there. You didn't have the support from your team. You're really deep in the enemy jungle. And it's so hard to team fight against Anivia when you can block off a whole area of the jungle. That is not where you want to fight against this champion.
And this is that push you were talking about. Hasn't even got his Archangels finished up yet, so he doesn't even have that massive pool of mana. And he's still just able to take out these waves. The blue buff is spawning up as well for him. Once that Roa's finished, once that Archangel's finished, it's going to be so hard to siege.
The mana's pretty high right now, but when you get the Seraphs and the stacked Rod of Ages, that's when the AP really kicks in. That's when you're going to start to chunk a lot. And also, it's not just that you can wave clear for a long time, it's very, very quick. So even if you just manage to throw down your ult on the Q for a couple of seconds, that can be enough just to blow up a wave unless there's a Baron backing it up.
Okay, what do either of these teams what are they playing towards here? What's the conditions we're looking at?
So I think Phelan have control right now because of the strength of this Anivia to shove in waves and also the desires so concerning to go up against. But Diabolus, if they get a flank from that cannon, that is how they can sort of find their way back into this game. Because yes, the gold is even. In fact, it's even ahead for Diabolus, but I feel like the pressure right now is on the side of Phelan because their 4-man is stronger. And right now, until Kakan joins the team fight, they are going to remain in a strong position. They have the pressure, they have the shove. Diabolus, they just need to wait until Phelan oversteps, have the vision control to go for a TP from Kakan.
I think one of the things you also need to keep in mind is something we talked about at the beginning of this game, but how different this setup is. But hold that as Wisdom gets ulted. The last breath comes down. He is just annihilated. Windwall to buy a bit of time as well. That's just an assassination for Diabolus.
Yeah, just a great play, and it shows strength that Yasuo Gragas combination. They get a kill. It means they will free up some pressure because this 4-man for Phelan is now a 3-man. And Kakan, who feels comfortable to shove in. I think Zizzle doesn't actually clear this out in time. It's going to go down.
He's going to go down. He
actually lands a stun.
Kakan's looking for the kill. He's got the backup of PFI.
He just dies here.
Decisive Maelstrom forces him down. The flash is used. And that is going to be the end of Zizzle, even using his flash to try and disengage.
That is not what you want to do. Really greedy from Zizzle. You either commit to clearing out the wave, or you back off. But he seemed half and half with his decision. And as a result, he falls down. And he's going to give another Cloud Dragon over to Diabolus. And although Cloud isn't the most talked about dragon, the extra movement speed, especially on the back of a Sivir and a cannon, is going to make engaging so much easier for the side of Diabolus.
Well, they're able to clear out this wave in the mid lane as well. It's definitely a battle of attrition as far as kind of pushing into towers goes when there's an Anivia on one side and a Sivir on the other.
Yeah. Especially
Especially now, even that Yasuo has started to build static shiv again.
You
just
just
so much
waves
wave
just get
clear.
blown up. It's not about that. It's about the rotations. And this is a good one coming in from Phelan. They take the opportunity when Diabolus are resetting, and they essentially get a free tower here. Should go some way to equalizing the goal difference, but still Diabolus 1,000 ahead. And right now, they're 2 wave clear attempts, like you're saying, in the mid. But
Dragdar is getting absolutely annihilated. He's ignited. Chimera flashes forward, forces out the Zhonya's.
You're not getting out of
He's
this.
going to get the stun, and the Chimera finds the kill. Now he even has to be careful as he jumps away with the dredge line.
This is the difference, as both these champions can wave clear pretty effectively, but Chimera actually has kill pressure. Great stun. Great wall, just found the opportunity, and Dragdar not only goes down, but burns his stopwatch as well. This Anivia is starting to really take off.
Anivia's definitely looking strong as Kakan has to rub his socks to get himself a bit of statics.
Ooh.
Oh my lord.
He just hit the Seraphs, and the Rod of Ages is about to fully stack. At 23 minutes, I believe it will. It's going to be so strong. Then ult just used to clear the wave. I respect the decision, but the team fight can't come out.
They do a lot of damage to PFI there. They're looking to chase. Wind becomes lightning. Root goes a little bit wide.
It looks like Diabolus, they are just trying to buy time until the Sivir gets back to wave clear. The ult is down, so no engage from the Gragas, but Kakan is actually looking for a flank.
Look at the flank. PFI gets engaged on the backline. The final spark is going to miss its mark.
damage
That's
is
the slicing
huge.
Maelstrom. That's also the ulti coming out by a Chew. The chase is there, and the team fight is on. Wisdom is low, but they haven't been able to die yet. It's a 1-for-1 fight so far. As Zizzle in the middle of the fight, Chimera will finally pop his egg, and Diabolus run away with the fight, leaving 2 of Phelan standing.
Yeah, they lose Kakan, but what an engage he managed to make. So much damage on the back line. They get Chimera into his egg, and then he's useless. And a Chew only able to run away in that situation with Wisdom following. Great team fight coming out from Diabolus. And we said the flank from the cannon was the big thing. They didn't even need a TP to find that one.
Wisdom's final sparks need to find their marks. Again, it went wide. It didn't hit that key target.
I mean, even if it did, I just feel like you have to have the vision control to keep pushing like that. They didn't respect the cannon flank, and it bit them so heavily because it basically chunked a Chew so much out the fight that he instantly had to ult and then run away. Wisdom just had to walk off, and Chimera, he just went down into his egg, and he was not in a position where he's going to be able to revive and survive for long. He just died almost instantly. And that's on top of using his stopwatch. So great team fight win coming out from Diabolus. They found the mark. They just need to repeat that process until they get a secure hold on this game.
Oh, they need to be careful. They're chasing for the kill. That's going to be the flash
Great
away by a
flash.
shoe.
The thing is if you flash to the other side of the Gragas ult, you'll still get hit, and then you still can still ult the follow-up. So that one was so close to him just flashing to the other side. And actually, look for PFI here. Just have the Zhonya's, but he's just going to body slam away.
Yeah, he was pretty tanky there. Didn't really take too much damage.
Pretty tanky for someone who's building full
Yeah,
AP.
I know. But then again, also the Lux is a more support build.
Yeah, Lux is not built a ton of
I'm used to
damage.
mid lane Lux personally, so I'm used to the burst.
So we'll have a look at that team fight. Khan on the flank does get exhausted towards the end, but so much damage comes in. Instantly the egg coming out from Chimera, and now Achu and Wisdom are zoned out the flight. And really, this Anivia is not where she wants to be in the middle of the team fight. Zizzle does his best to peel for her, but there's really nothing you can do against 4 members of Diabolus because already Achu and Wisdom have backed off, and that's why the flank came out so great. Instantly caught Chimera off guard, and without his peel for Achu and Wisdom, they just had to run away.
You also saw Soft early spotted PFI, so he jumped onto him, meant his ulti wasn't there to kind of split up Diabolus, and it meant they would just were able to kind of form a death ball and run through Phelan. So really solid play by PFI to kind of bait Soft off to the side.
That's a big thing, is that if you run at Phelan in a straight line, you will get blade collared, you will get rooted by the Lux, you will get frozen and walled by the Anivia. It is not a good situation to do, which is why for Diabolus, it is so important to find these flanks in these team fights. You have to come at the backline from 2 different angles or you're going to lose.
Alrighty, well the ward's still in control here for Diabolus as Wisdom's doing his best to try and clear them out.
Quick stock check. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. Do you see any number which just seems exceedingly large for the time in the game?
That's 285 CS.
At 25 minutes. That's pretty
Soft.
crazy. Oh, that is not a good
He
position.
might just be done. Forced to use his ultimate. Goes golden for the moment. That's going to be a stun coming out by Chimera. Into the ulti. Wave 1. Zizzle gets himself off. The final spark goes a little bit wide. That's going to be the dredge line and the ulti.
Oh,
Thrown onto
Zizzle's going
Chimera.
in.
They're going for the teleport onto the side. He even flashes in with the dredge line. That's going
Great
to be
binding.
They find the binding. They find the damage. Kakar gets rooted off.
What
But
an
the slicing
exhaust.
maelstrom runs them through as a chew throws feathers into the back of the head. It's a 1 for 2 in favor of Phelan.
But something that looks so favourable for Diabolus in the start, Phelan bring it back perfectly. Chimera was massive in that team fight. Remember, fighting in the jungle is so favourable for the Anivia, but my MVP for that fight has to be Wisdom. Actually, no, it wasn't even his exhaust. It was Chimera's exhaust with the Summoner spell, with exhaust the engage coming out, and then it was a great binding that stopped Khan from finding that engage on the cannon. Really solid team fight all around from Phelan. They managed to find a tower on the back of that, and now they're definitely in a comfortable position. And it's so true. If you don't find the flanks, you will not be able to kill this backline.
And with that, Phelan have been able to get themselves back into this game. Gold, very, very close. Just 800 separating them. Not even that.
Very slim, and I love to see it. Second game of the UKLC Summer Split. First game was pretty one-sided. This one is definitely a long-fought fight, and with how explosive the team fight's going to be, I can't wait to see more.
First game was a statement game. This one is actually kind of proving some expectations where we thought these two teams would be very kind of tied in power. And they're showing that. It's a back and forth game. They're kind of tied at some points. There's a big team fight in favor of Diabolus and then a big team fight in favor of Phelan. These two teams are definitely kind of equal in power at the moment.
And someone I have to praise is we talked about the strong solo lanes of Diabolus and the strong bot lane of Phelan. But Chimera is really holding his own, despite the fact we thought it would be a Fury-favored matchup just because of his skill. Chimera is really doing a lot of work on this Anivia, and I think that's what's keeping Phelan so heavily in this game, because he provides so much zone control, so much damage. It's very hard for Diabolus to find a way in on the back of his Frozen Bird plays.
Frozen Bird plays.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. He's a Cryo Phoenix.
Which is a Frozen Bird.
I mean, he's actually not a frozen bird. He's just an ice bird. So he's frozen water that has formed a bird.
Isn't Ice Cube frozen?
Yes,
There
but
you go.
it's frozen water. It's a cube of frozen water.
Yeah. And
He is an ice cube in the shape. Well, he's not ice cube. He's just ice in the shape of a bird. Anyway, Kakar's soloing out this Ocean Drake, which is water before it freezes, before it comes ice.
No, because it's an ocean. You freeze
What's
water.
the ocean made of?
Well, it's made of water, but you can't just freeze the whole ocean. Well, I mean, difficult. You'd
It
struggle.
happened. It's happened a couple of times in the history of the Earth.
Well, not recently.
Not recently, no. Blimmin' not here.
Very hot here. Game has slowed down to a degree. There's 3 dragons on the side of Diabolus. Will be helpful if they get to an Elder, but I have to say the Mountain looking very tasty for Phelan if they want to start off that Baron. A lot of sustained damage coming out from the Anivia.
They not checking that bush is actually insane. Right, they finally check it. Oh, wait, no, they didn't.
They have vision. That's the thing. Is that
we were talking about the power of flanks for Diabolus. If they can actually find those big
they're pinging it out, but there's no TP available for Khan. If they had TP here, this would literally be game over for Phelan. And I feel like such a mistake, especially when you look at the veteran status of Wisdom as a support. You need to be spotting that one out.
No one's checking this pixel brush. Chimera just walked past it.
Check the brush. Come on. Come on.
In. Oh, they get a root. They get the cask.
Not a great cast.
They get the dredge line. This might just be the fight. Soft. Forced to use the ulti. Now he's looking to turn it back around. The final spark finds 3 members. Chimera's looking to block him off of the wall. The stopwatch gets used out by Fury. Wisdom misses out on the finding. A great flash by Fury means he is going to be out A-OK. And that bush is still not being checked.
Look in the bush.
They know where they are.
Oh, it's constantly given a bit of control to Diabolus, and they know if the Baron gets started. Finally.
Oh. What? There
Oh, woohoo! Finally!
Woohoo!
And now they will start the Baron, but Diabolus very aware. They do still have a ward in the pit, actually just timed out. It's going down very fast, though.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage to that, but even full HP, you got to keep in mind, Soft, no ulti and half HP, flashless as well, which is key, but they want to keep this going. It might just be the moment. This has to be Kakan with a big slicing maelstrom, and it looks like Phelan just step away. They don't want to risk it. Baron gets reset. And they step off.
Don't want to 50-50 this, especially since you've won the last 2 engages coming out from Phelan. They know the risk of PFI. Stolen a lot of Barons in his time. Actually, Chu's found PFI here.
PFI actually misses out on the route, so he's not going to be able to get away. He goes golden for the moment, and it's Chu.
His ult is
going to take a spark. Wisdom just scumbag steals out of the ulti.
Hey, supports can carry too. PFI's ult just came up as the stopwatch timed out. I thought he was going to try flash stopwatch, but the timing wasn't there. And now they're going to start off that Baron. The Anivia with the Mountain and the Xayah as well. They will do this so fast. A team fight has to come out from Diabolus if they want to stop this. They have the tools.
There is still the tools, like you said. They can still find that opening, but Baron is most certainly going to be going down. He even has got his flash if he wants to find that opening. That's going to be Baron sorted out, and Phelan, they don't want to fight. They know exactly what Diabolus need to do as they base up and look to spend some gold.
And that is going to stop the stalemate of the wave clear between these 2 teams, because Dragdar, yes, he can clear waves very effectively as that Sivir, but now with the Baron, a lot more resting on his shoulders, because those Baron-powered minions, you're going to struggle to cut through them. I feel like now, Diabolus, they need to look for an engage. And that's why the burden here is on Phelan to clear out wards behind them. If you look at the minimap, you can see that lane ward coming out from the side of Diabolus. It's about to time out, but there's a couple others scattered around. If Kakan TPs in on those for a flank, that could be the end of this Baron buff for Phelan, and possibly the hopes in this game.
All right, well, they are playing with a little bit of respect. It looks like they're going for the 1-3-1 for the moment, sending the Shen into the top lane, sending a Chu into that bot lane. As they kind of dance between these 2 side lanes, between the mid and the bot. Just kind of leave Zizzle just to do his own thing. The Stan United is coming up fairly soon as well. So
yeah, just still have the TP right now if he needs it urgently. And I feel like Khan, although he can apply pressure in the 1v1, there is not enough wave clear from McKinnon to clear out Baron at minions. And so he's going to try and answer Zizzle, but I feel like he's going to struggle, especially now that Shen has been able to scale up a bit, get some tanky items behind him. The burst potential just isn't quite there. Now, going for the 4-1, bot lane push comes in, and I feel like they're just going to take that tower very quickly if they aren't stopped by the side of Diabolus. The engage potential is there. A ward has been pinged out. You can see in the tri-rush, there is potential for Khan to TP in. That's what we're waiting for. Right now, he's too close to Zizzle, but the opportunity is definitely there.
Flash ulti for PFI as well if he wants to go for that opening. Can see that Phelan are fully aware of any flank potential though from PFI, because they got that control ward on that side as they're just pushing up the waves. It gets harder and harder for Kakan to actually clear out these waves, just based off because he's doing AP damage. And the Baron buff minions are just doing reduced damage, taking reduced damage from him. So you can actually see he was struggling to take out the waves and to deal with them from Zoe. As
not sure what that was, but we do have a pause. We'll have a look. So this is just leading into that Baron fight. I mean, it wasn't even too much of a fight. It was the pick coming out to PFI, so he doesn't realize. Well, I mean, he must have seen that ward, but I don't think he respected the fact that Chu could be there. He gets caught out, and I was actually looking at the timer on the PFI ult. It comes up now, but there is not time for it to flash away an ult. Maybe if he just instantly did it, but I feel like Chu needed one auto to kill him, so he had to look for the W. to find its life, and that was enough to take down the jungler. And that was the start of the end of this Baron for Diabolus.
And you can see Diabolus were itching for that moment. They wanted to find that opening, but they just... Zill does a really good job, actually. Zill to stop anyone from getting in. Look at the zoning he's doing just off to the side of the map. Fury also tries to find himself an opening. The wind wall's used quite early. And then he has no way to actually try and secure the Baron for the team, so he just steps away.
I mean, that's the limitation. Is without your jungle, there's very little chance to steal. Unless this Sivir goes for a miracle boomerang blade, there's just not much you can do in that scenario. We do have a pause underway. We will just take a quick break. The goal is still very close.
Yeah, you can actually see the Bloodthirst has also been picked up mid on the Assault as well, so a lot of sustain, a lot of damage to play with. Last time we saw the GA, this time it's towards the Bloodthirst. So you want to get that real kind of like
Only concern I have is no cleanses. He has no cleanse, he has no QSS. If you get hit by one bit of CC from the side of Phelan, I feel like you might end up just going down.
I mean, there's a lot of chain CC for Phelan. I feel both of these, like for Phelan, it's a lot more pick orientated. They find one person with one bit of CC, and that just, everyone just throws everything at that person.
Beautiful comp to kite back. It's so hard. If you don't find a way to get behind the backline, you're dealing with the slows, the Anivia walls, the roots coming out from the Lux, the feathers being put behind you from Xayah. There is no easy way into that team unless you come from multiple angles. And that's what they were looking for just before that pause. They were looking for the TP flank, potentially coming out from Kakan. And, you know, we'll have to see what happens in the next play, but my big question is there's been a couple of times where the vision control has been a little bit lacking from Phelan. They haven't respected the possibility of wards being behind them, and they've been a bit lazy with clearing them. There's one behind them. You know, both Soph and Wisdom had their sweepers. Yeah. They could have taken a bit more time and checked it, removed the possibility of a flank coming in. It's not like it's a super obscure, hard to find ward. It's in that tri-brush. That's a pretty common warding spot. I think taking the time to clear them out would make things safer. So that's how I want to see the team sort of change things up going forwards. And we'll get back in the game. That ward is still there, and Kakan is still very ready to take it. But right now, he's just clearing out some camps.
It looks like they are just quite comfortably playing out. They've still got time on this Baron, like you said.
TP's one waiting for. Kakan is in base. He has a home guards buff. He's absolutely ready for this. He's coming. He's
Watch on
TPing.
that side. They might just find this opening. PFI channels up the Predator. They're grouped up. This is the perfect moment. The slicing Maelstrom pins him in place. Soph sends everybody packing. Achu gets the ulti on top of him. And the fight is on. The egg gets burst already. And Wisdom onto that side. A last breath comes down. That's going to be the ulti by Lux as they're trying to get the damage down. Can Phelan turn the fight? It's a 1-for-1. But they're getting absolutely cut through by everybody on Diabolus. The flash, the boomerang blades. And Wisdom is forced to run away. He flashes, but there's a blast cone to chase him down. Diabolus take out 4 members of Phelan, and it's an absolute stomp of a fight.
Yeah, they clear all those Baron buffs. They get a dragon as a reward. It was a great flank from Khan, and I said it in the break. I gotta say it again. Wisdom and Soph didn't use their sweepers, didn't effectively check their flank positions, and as a result, Diabolus get a great team fight, and now Phelan are left potentially waiting for the next Baron to find any pressure, because again, Dragdot is getting so strong right now. His wave clear is absurd. And they're not even settling for that. They're going to take a turret on the back of that dragon. So in a great position, push the goal lead to 3,000.
And again, it's a suboptimal Luxol. It hit one person, even when all the Diabolus were grouped up. Wisdom unable to find that opening. Let's look at this fight again.
Yeah, so the Shen taunt comes in. I think they just left Chimera dead here. And then Zizzle. I actually want to see what happens because he hasn't taunted yet. He saves it very late for the Yasuo. If he taunted earlier, he could have got 4 people with it. That might have made a difference, maybe not. But I feel like there just wasn't the response quick enough coming out from the side of Phelan. Wisdom only just survives, but that Baron buff is going to be very little. Not much time left on it. And just mistakes.
Soph also delivered the depth charge on top of Achu. He stood on top of him. So they both got knocked up and then killed. I feel like if he sidestepped it, maybe Achu could have done something to get away. Or maybe pump out a little bit of damage to try and just secure 1 or 2 more people in the fight. But, you know, that's all you can say with hindsight.
Yeah.
Question is what can Phelan do? Because this is what we were talking about, Diabolus. They have that team fight. They have that big wombo combo available to them. And they just pull it off in that last fight.
Starting to get control towards this Baron area. They are looking to get the next one. Good root comes out from Wisdom. It's not going to really do any damage to the side of Diabolus, and they are starting to really get control here. We talked about how there's that massive gold lead on Achu, but he just got shut down again, and now the items are equalized between the 80 carries. Dragdot's managed to pick up so much gold this Sivir. There's only a 50 CS difference, but those extra kills he got in the last team fight definitely helping him equalize that item differential. And now is just the part where I start to get concerned. Because Kakan is ahead in gold of the Shen. The Yasuo and Nivea matchup is pretty even. And now that the AD carries even again, Diabolus are in a favorable position to take a team fight.
The one key thing I do want to kind of note from this, though, is Diabolus used every flash, every summoner spell available to make that fight happen.
Furies.
Apart from Furies.
Which isn't that
Phelan
important.
actually only burnt 2 flashes in that fight.
Yeah, they're still comfortable. And
they
the
still
big
have an ability to turn the next fight.
For this Baron, absolutely. And it's so hard for Diabolus to walk in, especially when Kakan doesn't have his TP. You either need to find an opportunity for him to flank, and I have to respect the good vision control coming out. You can see those wards in the blue side jungle of Phelan. They've set them up in advance for a potential TP flank, but Kakan still has another 2 minutes before he can TP in. Those wards might not have timed out or been cleared by that time. So really, they're waiting for the cooldowns to be available, and I think you have to wait for both. You want that TP and that flash from the cannon to be able to find those flanks.
And Chimera now at level 17, he's got 3.5 items under his belt as well. He is able to just cut through these waves. So Baron is really important for both of these teams because it is impossible to crack a base without them.
Yeah, both these teams, a lot of scaling on their sides. It's going to be very difficult for either team to break the base without that buff, especially as Phelan didn't manage to get that bot tower in the end. Dizzle will push up, and this is the advantage. They still have that TP, still have that Stand United, so they can push up as a 4 with that 1 split push in. Kakan will go to answer. Doesn't really have the damage to kill out the Shen right now. And so it means that now Phelan have control of the mid area. They can shove in this lane because they know they are favored. They have the numbers advantage.
And here now sees that dredge line defensively to get out. Phelan looking for that pick, looking for that one target they can just chain CC.
Level 18 from Chimera means his wall is maxed. And that thing is so wide when you hit max level. Like, we'll wait till we see you use it, but it's huge. And once again, the vision control isn't that great coming out from Phelan. They're on a ward. They're on 2 wards. They're going to TP in. They're looking for this play, but PFI is aware.
Can they try and steal away? PFI not going to be able to get it in time. Dizzle on the sides as he's not going to go, and Phelan just pick up the Baron uncontested on top of a ward.
Yeah, and it just shows if you don't have the setup, you don't have the TP potential for Kakan, you aren't going to be able to make this play.
Kakan has flash in a second, though.
Yeah, and he is behind them. They're not checking these side rushes. This could cost them hugely if Kakan goes in.
He's about to get it. He's been spotted out as he steps up. Phelan maybe just try and turn the attention here, but the on the hunt gets
Look at that wall.
The slicing Maelstrom into the Featherstorm for the moment. He's going to go golden. The blades hit no one, and Chimera has got egg, but they try to find that opening. That's going to be the ulti out by PFI, and it's just one quick kill picked up for the side of Diabolus.
Yeah, they take out the jungler, not the most impactful member right now for Phelan, but still, it gives them an advantage, and now they'll have to recall and try and get back mid to defend. They'll lose that mid in a tower, but they should be able to defend their inhibitor in time.
And again, Phelan do not check their sides, do not check their flanks, and it punishes them. This is a big glaring issue we're seeing here on week 1.
Yeah, and it needs to be rectified. If not in this game, then going forwards. But right now, the issues they're having with their warding is costing them dearly. Again and again, Kakan able to find a flank. And now, he has lost his flash, but still has that TP available. And the Elder Dragon is just spawned. No jungle for Phelan. And this is a 4-stack Elder if Diabolus can secure it. And it's going down so fast.
They're looking to try and spot it out, but actually Phelan is just barreling down that mid lane. The bases are going to try to come through, but Wisdom is just playing interrupt. He has that last breath to try and stop the recalls. And
damage!
is doing a lot of damage, but the base may just get cracked here by Phelan. Wisdom is stopping the bases, so they have to use the teleport already. Kakan can't do anything as his Nexus will just crumble to Phelan.
Yeah, so they managed to get that inhibitor in trade for the Elder Dragon, but it does mean both the Elder Dragon and the Baron are going to take a similar-ish amount of time. I think the Elder Dragon will last slightly longer, but for the most part, these teams are likely just to have very little impact in the next couple of minutes as they wait the other team's buffs out. Although right now, Phelan waiting, they want to make a pick on PFI again.
PFI pops out
good
a
pink
on the
ward.
pink ward. Can come over the wall. He has to flash just at the sight of the slow
He
and
was
Fury.
so scared of PFI ulting over the wall. As soon as he saw the Yasuo, he felt like he had to flash. And it is a massive summoner to be burned already before a team fight even occurred in that situation. Just burns it on the fact that they were looking for a pick. Right now, things will start to reset. Full build now picked up by a Chew. Very close to that for
There's
Dragdor.
4 GAs in this game.
Yeah, they both have full build. And that's the thing, is that the GAs can come in huge. Well, 4 GAs in the Egg Nivea.
With his Zonyas.
Yeah, it's very hard to fully kill someone, but the positioning is big. If you take someone out and they're in a bad position, they're just going to die again almost instantly.
Oh, the Heathen steps up. Doesn't get spotted out by the E, but will jump away. The pink ward is placed down.
Yeah, and Phelan, a lot of wave clear on their side. They just want to respect Diabolus' team fighting prowess. They don't want to fight against the Elder, so they'll just clear waves again and again and again.
And they still got
Essentially, just
Baron.
going to be a handshake. Yep, it's just going to be, we're going to try and clear waves for as long as possible, and we're not going to fight you. I don't think Diabolus are confident enough to engage in a tower. So all they can do is just take extra jungle camps, which, you know, it's nothing to complain about, but it's not exactly the momentum they wanted to find after getting that Elder.
All right, and that is going to be the end of the Baron buff here for Phelan. They have no more waves they can buff up. They will be able to clear out these waves, though. There's so much wave clear on both sides of the team. And what are Diabolus going to do? How are they going to crack the base is the question for me.
I think it's very difficult. I think this 1-3-1 that they're doing is a pretty smart way to establish it. But the problem is, if Chimera is confident enough to clear a wave on his own, there's not a ton you can do. It's essentially waiting for the next buff. The next Elder for Diabolus will be absolutely massive. It lasts such a long time, and the buff becomes so much stronger. That is the concern. But right now, they still only have that 1 second. It actually has timed out, I believe. And Diabolus is going to head towards that top side to try and get that tower. No one's really moved in time to defend it, but Diabolus are very cautious moving over, so I don't even think they get this.
Can see Kakan, though, in the bot lane is going to be able to push up uncontested for the moment, but a Chu looks for a bit of damage onto Heaven, gets slowed down, and Kakan actually might just be able to take this
that's a
turret.
lot of
He
damage.
is chipping through it. I say chipping through it. He is ripping through it. It's going to go down nice and quick. That is an open inhibitor in the bot lane for Diabolus.
Yeah, good split to find that opening. Now, the big concern is going to be with that tower down, it's very difficult for Zizzle to defend. If they lose that inhibitor, the next Baron is going to be really easy for Diabolus to take.
Phelan really need to make sure they're checking this vision for the next Baron. They can get that third Baron, then maybe they can look to try and crack open that bot lane and open another pushing lane for them, as mid with the supers it's nice, but when you're playing into a Sivir, it's really not a problem for the enemy team to deal with.
Oh, that was close on the binding, but not enough. So late in this game, we had fastest game ever in the UKLC before. We might actually be bordering on longest game ever right now. Don't think we'll quite hit it yet, but Phelan and Diabolus are in for the long haul. 5k gold lead for Diabolus honestly isn't that significant right now because a lot of champions are starting to get full build. But this next team fight could well mean the game for either side. Diabolus are setting up, looking for this Baron. Phelan are nowhere near, but they need to start getting some ground and find an opportunity to contest this. They will shove up the mid lane. Dragdog's there in response.
I see on the hunt, actually.
Oh, yeah,
by
he's
Dragdog.
so concerned about a flash coming in. He just pops that. It's a pretty short cooldown at this point in the game, especially with the extra CDR from the Essence Reaver, but a big team fighting tool that's been taken off the cards.
But again, there's a ward behind Phelan they can use to basically get jumped onto, so they need to be careful.
And it's a pink ward as well.
They actually find something onto Soft. They get the wall off. That's going to be the final spark. Lands onto nobody. Once again, Wind becomes lightning. The knockup lands onto the backline, onto Wisdom. They're going to use one ulti already, and Kakan just finds a solo kill onto Zizzle. This might just be the opening for Diabolus need to crack open this game.
Yeah, and now Diabolus are pinging onto that Baron because they know there's very little that Phelan can do contest it. They're going to try and send members back, but you essentially have to concede it as of now. They finally find the pink ward, but it's too late. Kakan is going to take that inhibitor.
This might just be the moment for Diabolus. His inhib is going to go down nice and quick. Kakan is just melting through objectives. And Diabolus are going to turn their attention towards this Baron, but is also cut through nice and fast. A flank is being set up here by Phelan to try and pick on to Kakan.
Yeah,
It's
no
just
ult, no
Soft.
flash, but Soft isn't confident enough to take it. They know they would lose a lot of their base on the other side. Actually, he's walking up again.
Oh.
I think he
Don't
possibly
cancel
could
that base
1v1 him.
off. There you go.
Yeah, go for it.
They're going to go for it. They're going to get that damage down. The tower's already gone. They want to find this quick, nice, and easy pick. The feathers get laid down. The final spark is used. The GA is instantly popped though onto Soft.
That was a lot of
now
damage.
they're looking to open up these turrets.
This wasn't
Another
weird
one
to
is
hit.
fallen. They're onto the Nexus. Chimera can do nothing into all of these Baron minions pushing into his tower. Tries to find a wall onto Heaven. Finds himself
Good
a stun.
stun.
They're trying to find the picks now. Azil jumps in. Doesn't quite get himself the taunt off, but Wisdom running in. The root is not going to find his mark. A great cast by PFI will dissuade and disengage against Phelan.
Yeah, 3 inhibitors down. and the the Elder Dragon spawning up again. It will be a double Elder buff if Diabolus can secure it.
These costs are half healthing a Chew and
there's so
Chimera.
much damage on them. It's a full AP Gragas, and I don't just mean like you picked up some AP pieces. I mean you have a Rabadons, and now Phelan, they know they have to start off the Elder because if they give it up, they lose. They can't let the supers push in.
They're in a 4v5. They want to go for it right now before Kakan can teleport back in. They've got 10 seconds, 9 seconds to go. The Drake is getting started. PFI is on that flank. The wall to try and block him off. He can't secure it. And now they're trying to turn the fight onto PFI, who uses his Zonyas nice and early. The flash out over the wall. They use the dredge line. It might just be enough damage as the last breath comes down, forcing out the GA. Chimera is going to lose his egg. Sop is forced to flash over the wall. Kakan is onto the flank. The Featherstorm gets used by Chew, and he gets taken down. Diabolus are taking everybody from Phelan to the grey screen as they're looking to take it to their base now. Zizzle is the only one inside, and Dragdar with a Baron buff is trying to get onto this turret. Zizzle has the Titanic Hydra, but he cannot cut through these objectives. He misses out on the taunt. He's going to take oh so much damage from these hard carries. The last breath comes down. Zizzle will fall. The Nexus will fall. And in 46 minutes, Diabolus take out Phelan.
Yeah, and what a performance from Diabolus. It was so close for so long, but they edged ahead. They found the team fights, and it was great play coming out from Kakan. Those 1v1s he found, even that late in the game, was huge. They really found them the areas to get advantages, and once they got that Baron, it really just sunk the nail in the coffin.
It was a good start by Phelan, but what you have to keep in mind is the ward control, the vision control was what cost Phelan that mid to late game stage, because we worried about the solo lanes, but actually the Phelan solo lanes didn't perform overly bad apart from top, but that is a hard matchup, so we'll let Zizzle off on that. But Diabolus just played a great game with the vision. They knew that Phelan weren't checking their flanks, and they then just played around their main win condition.
It was a lack of the respect. They weren't aware of the wards that were behind them. I understand there's times it's tricky to check when it's, a regular ward, but the fact there were pink wards behind them really raises a lot of questions. But got to give testament to Diabolus. They found the flanks, and that was actually, we've had it confirmed, the longest game
we
of the UKLC.
We start with the quickest game of the UKLC, and then we pick up straight into the longest game.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah, what does that mean the next ones are going to be? They're just going to be the kind of most average length games?
We'll see. Maybe it goes back to the new shortest, then the new longest. Who knows?
Oh, God, yeah. We'll be in for a long one if that is the case. But coming up next is Enclave versus M&M. I should really have it written down somewhere for me to see. I have to look over there. That is the game I am really excited about for today. Because I want to see how the likes of USET and Only Angel joining M&M are going to be.
But also the UK mid showdown coming in between Beely and Chibs. We don't get too many UK mids around here. They are a bit of a rare breed, but we have two coming up in the next matchup. I am hyped to see which one comes out on top.
I'm very hyped, but I'm also hyped to see how Phelan Diabolus kind of phase out into the later stages of this tournament, because that game was really confirmed a lot of theories about how both of these teams were kind of matching up.
They're both strong.
They're both strong teams. I agree with that. And I think they're both fairly equal teams. Diabolus definitely recognizing their win conditions better in that game. And I think that's something Phelan need to look to shore up. But the questions I had about maybe Diabolus' brand new roster of all 5 new people, especially when it was quite a late roster as well, for them to actually get themselves kind of prepared and getting into this game, and there's nerves and the uncoordination, they weren't problems. Diabolus looked very put together, and they were controlling of the game.
The fact they had a last-minute substitution for the AD carry, and they still managed to pull through so effectively. Yes, there were issues. There were always going to be issues with any team, but I think they really came together, and they knew their win condition. They found it, so got to give props to them.
All right, we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, be Enclave versus M&M, so don't go anywhere, and we'll see you after the break.
Yeah, hello?
Hey, we're still talking?
Yeah,
okay, we're not.
We're still here.
What's happening?
We're so confused. You're so confused. We're all confused, but
what a time.
It happens.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling tired after that game, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad Chronicler's punching in for the next one.
Yeah, I got 2 more coming up, so gotta keep batting.
I mean, that first one was just draining because it was so explosive. That last one was draining because it was explosive but long.
It was a long one. In for the long haul, yep. Absolutely.
I mean, also you got to keep in mind, now we've got a bit of time to fill. We're looking at who actually have we seen so far who are going to fare well versus the likes of Fnatic. Quickly.
I think Demise actually might give them a good fight. It's too early to see. I'm optimistic. They may yet win Worlds.
Okay, well, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we're back, it'll be Enclave versus M&M, so don't go anywhere. See you in a second.